Hi everybody, I'm Cindy with Elevated Designs and we're going to continue working on this spring sign insert. If you happen to catch yesterday's live or you watched the video on my YouTube channel, which is Elevated Designs, there's a link actually in this live post that if you click on it, it'll take you to my YouTube channel, and please subscribe. But what we did is we worked on a bumblebee and we worked on this adorable birdhouse and bird. So we have two more elements to do before we actually start painting the squares that we're going to glue these onto. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And then the sign. So we're going to work on those today. One of the elements is actually going to be these boots and this umbrella. And I'm going to paint the boots yellow. And my choice for the umbrella is going to be a very mild yellow. I'm going to mix some banana cream and white. And then we're going to do some pink. So let's start on the boots first. Because I'm just going to make those the banana cream. And then I'll have to mix my paint. And we know from past experience, covering with yellow takes extra layers. And then what I'll do for this handle is I'm actually going to make that, I think, the same pink that I put in the umbrella. So we're going to just stick with pink and yellow for this particular part of the sign. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. It's chilly here today. It is chilly. And then I'll paint the soles of these, probably the sand gray. So I'm going to try my best not to get yellow down in there, but if I do, well, it is what it is. Hopefully it won't be too hard to cover up. And I might as well paint the little circle of this flower as well. So all we're going to have left to do after we paint these boots is a watering can. I probably should have just used a brush. And I think I'm going to switch to that. I'm an old school painter, and I just find using a brush is easier, and I can just get better coverage. And two, I just have more control of where my paint's going. See, just by switching to that brush, it just much better. And I use wood, so instead of MDF, and you know, there's grain in this wood, and I just feel that by using a paintbrush, I'm able to get into the grain of the wood better than if I was to use a sponge. I personally like painting on wood. There's nothing wrong with MDF. I just didn't care for it, personally. From my understanding, and I wouldn't know because I've never cut MDF, it's pretty dusty on your laser cutter. But I don't know. But I've been painting for 20 plus years, and I still have a scroll saw, but you know, I cut my own wood with a scroll saw, and so I'm just used to wood. And I just think wood lasts longer. And if treated properly, I think it would be more durable outside than MDF. Hopefully I can get this finished up today. I'm not for sure. I don't know where these little particles are coming from. But that's a pretty good coat. So I'm going to add white to this paint, and hopefully I can lighten it up significantly. I just kind of want it to be a very pale yellow. Because the pink I'm going to be using is going to be pretty bright. I have more than enough paint on my plate. I always like to make way more than what I need, just in case. I don't want to run out and try and remix this color. So I'll go ahead and paint this umbrella. And this is going to take more coats than normal because it's just so pale. I have a hair somewhere. I'm an overachiever with the paint today. Really putting a ton of it on. I wanted enough variance in the yellows to make a difference. And then with this, you're going to glue this over top. So, I mean, some of the yellow is going to match up, but I'm going to go yellow, pink, yellow, pink. That way it's alternating. And just make sure you go up far enough that when you glue that piece on, it covers this area. And then you're just going to want to go between the pole of the umbrella and then this other score line. And just go down far enough onto the boots because you're going to be gluing boots over top. I'm actually going to work on a beach sign insert. I'm really loving creating beach stuff. I love the bright colors and just, so I'm going to create an insert for, with a beach theme. And I actually see myself creating something for the bench as well. I think, whoa. I think one more coat might do it here. Now I could have made this umbrella a multitude of colors, but when I think of so many colors like that, I think of a beach umbrella. And I might even try and use this color to highlight the boots. I'm going way above, higher than I need to, but I'd rather just make sure I have more than enough on there. So I think I'll start off by trying to dry brush a little bit of this light color, excuse me, on the toes of this boot. We'll see if it really makes a difference. If not, I'm gonna have to highlight with white. Now, dry brushing is just a subtle way of adding another color. You will get better highlighting and shading results if you float. Which I might have to try and do. I didn't know if this would be good enough, but I wanted to give it a try. We'll see if floating makes a difference. I mean, there's definitely a variance, but it might not be enough. I'll see this works. You can see this. But it very well may fade as well. Because if you think about it, when you're floating, you're mixing water with your paint. So therefore, you're watering it down. So it'll definitely be lighter. And it's just making a slight difference. I might have to go back and hit it with some white. And there's nothing wrong with floating two different colors on whether you're shading or highlighting. I do it all the time, and it just adds a gradient to what you're doing. It's definitely faded. And I might still need to put another coat on this. Definitely fading. try and highlight one more time. Way too much. And if it doesn't make enough of a difference, I'm going to switch to white. Or I could even add more white into the paint I already have mixed up. And try and get that yellow a little bit lighter. So we'll try it again and see what happens. It's very minimal. But if you've been watching me, you know I don't like really bright lines of highlighting and shading. I don't really kind of do that. So let's try and mix a little bit. And we'll see what we get this time. It's definitely lighter. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to make a difference. And I actually ran out of paint. It's making a difference. It's good enough. I won't go over with white. Good enough. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I want to shade inside these boots, but I don't want it to be a strong color of the antique gold. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take and water down some antique gold. And I'm going to create a wash. So I'm just mixing it with water. Kind of like, think about it if you paint watercolors. So that's real watered down. Now I will take, but I'm gonna blend it pretty good. And I'm gonna shade these boots. I'm gonna shade behind the stitching. And then I'm gonna lay that boot over top and then create a shadow as well. I really have this watered down. You can't even tell. Let's try it again. I just know this is a pretty strong color. And I'll let that dry really good and I'll go pass over that heel. Hey Jamie, how are ya? Hope all is well. Comes on. Oh, some of my friends, I just don't know. I don't know. But that's okay. And then what I think I'm going to do is take a liner brush. And I'm just going to draw a line with this antique gold. There's too much paint on there. Right here. Just to hopefully try and make it a little bit more solid. So it looks like I shaded there. That just kind of gives the illusion of a shadow. I'm going to take my cheater and draw my line and hopefully get a little shading going on. Just so it looks like it's casting a shadow. That's the whole point. I'm gonna go back over it because I want it a little bit darker than that. And this float is not that wide. I might have to widen it. We'll see once that dries. I'm gonna have to hit it again. I need to make my float wider. And I'm not gonna spend much more time on it than that. Okay. Let's get some of this sand gray out, see if it's dark enough for the soles. And even though I'm going to be gluing, I'm going to just go ahead and paint down here, just in case I have an oops moment and it doesn't line up. Because it's easy to do, that's for sure. Then I'll try and do a little shading on these soles to try and give the illusion of the heel. You have to decide as a painter how much time you want to spend doing detailed work. The detailed work, I think, is what adds more to the finished product. but you just have to decide how much time you want to spend. And what I mean by detailed work is the highlighting and shading, even double highlighting and shading. Even though I have these score lines and it kind of separates the heel, and that could be good enough, but when you add color, it just kind of changes the look of it. Alright, let's see if I can get a little neutral gray in there. And darken it up and just kind of see if I can bring a different look. And I might take my liner brush and see if I can do a pretty thin, watered down line of white. Just to highlight. You folks might not be able to see it, but I can see it in person, and just adding that little bit. Changes things. All right. What I think I'll do, since I did lighten it, we'll see if I can maybe dry brush. A little bit on the edge here. It's pretty minimal. So I'm gonna have to float that. And my water is a mess. And I'm not going to highlight in there because there's no point. If I do anything, and I'm going to, I'm actually going to shade and cast a shadow. Oops, wrong color. I actually need to paint the handle. Not the handle, but the pull of the umbrella. And I think I'm gonna shade on both sides of these lines just to bring in another color. I'll just do one side for now on this particular one. Which I need to get it darker than that. Still want it darker than that, but I'm not going to worry about it right yet. Something you could do too is if you have silver paint, you could, metallic paint, you can paint this with some metallic paint. That would look nice as well. Alright, let's see if I can darken up this one side better. That's better. Get that other side and this is done as far as I'm concerned. I'm just going to take white because that mixture of light yellow is just not getting it. And I'm just going to go smack dab in the middle here. And I'll hit that again. Actually, my shading's a little bit darker than what I would like. I don't know if I can fix it, calm it down. So I'm just going to take that base coat and kind of just lightly go over it. And see if I can calm it down a little bit. Because that's just, it's a little bit more than what I prefer. That kind of just mellows it out a little bit. I'll go back over it again, but I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. So, I want another shot at it. And I actually think I'm gonna cover this up and go over that one again. Alright. So while I'm waiting on, well, I want to start gluing and then have to, I don't know if, I think I'm going to darken up the handle. I just think it should be darker. And I'm kind of just watering my paint down and doing a wash. So it's kind of just doing a light coating. And what's cool about this is it kind of already just kind of created a shadow. All right, let's see if I can get a better float. And the thing is, what I'm doing is I'm actually using the yellow that I would use to float just the banana cream. And so therefore it's a little bit darker than what it should be. I mean, I want that variation of color, but just minimal. So I'm really blending my paint this time around. Well, that's gonna have to be good enough. All right, let's kind of just see what we have here with this. And I need to kind of lightly see if I can create a slight shade line. All right. I need to empty my water because it is a mess. And when I come back, we're going to start on the pink portions of this umbrella. We'll get this glued. And then we'll work on the watering can. So hopefully you stick around. I'll be back shortly. Let's continue on. Hello. So we're going to paint these other portions of the umbrella with a color called Poodle Skirt Pink. And then I'm actually going to paint this handle the pink as well. And then it's just a matter of gluing this together and This umbrella and boots are done. This pink's gonna take a couple coats. It's lightly snowing outside. I didn't think we were supposed to get any snow today. I'll just use a sponge on that. I'm putting way more paint than what I need out. It's a dirty kind of day. Just use my brush. Now this handle is wider than the pole of the umbrella, and I did that intentionally because if you think about it, an umbrella handle usually is wider. So when you glue this, you're not going to want to try and line it up. You're just going to want to try and center it if possible. And I'm not really getting too much paint on the side, just a little bit, so I will wipe it off. Just right there at the tip is where I'm getting more paint on the sides. And I know I'm going to paint this crystal blue and Bahama blue. So while that's drying, I'll just go ahead and start on this. So I'm going to use the crystal blue first. And I think what I'll do is that stripe in the middle, I'm going to make a little bit darker. And even though I'm gonna paint the stripe a different color, I'm just gonna go over it now just so it has a little bit of a base coat on it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and paint all the way up on that, just in case I don't get it lined up. And I do need to go over that with a brush. Let me just get better coverage with a brush. Excuse me, I don't know. Wow. Now maybe, coverage is different on MDF. I painted on it one time. That was a few years ago, and I've never done it since, so I can't remember what it was like. Painting with a brush and painting with a sponge. I just can't remember. All right, let's do a little bit of highlighting with some pink chiffon. And I might have to hit it with some white. We'll see. Kind of want to just do that outside edge, very minimal. My paint is really watered down. I'm kind of walking the float out on the outside corner of this piece that's going to be glued on, just to brighten up that corner, and I might hit it again with some white. I have way too much water on my brush. That's drying. Hopefully there is enough variance between these two blues. Now that I look at it, I don't think so. Wow. Those are really close. I might have to rethink that middle color. I wanted it to be a little bit darker, and it is. But it's really hard to see the difference. So maybe once it dries, it'll be I can see the difference, but it's minimal. It's very minimal. I love both these colors. Honestly, this would be a good color to shade the crystal blue with. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to hopefully lightly they go on the inside here. And I'm getting in my score, my engraved, which I didn't want to do. Alright. Is it fixable? Yeah. Just have to take my stylus and just dot those little holes. So that's what I'll do. Not gonna worry about it right at the moment. It's a slight variance. That might end up being a do-over. Oh, we'll see. All right. Let's shade this pink. Oh, I need to highlight the top of that handle. Okay, we're gonna shade with bubblegum pink. But see how that's just a little bit different? It's a little bit darker, not much. I'll definitely go over the shading again. I didn't didn't do a very good job in that one area. It's pretty dark, that one area, pretty wide, way wider than what I wanted. So I'm trying to widen these just a titch. And I actually wanted to paint that. So I'm going to paint this the Bahama blue. And I think since there's such a slight difference between these two colors, I kind of wanted this part to be a little darker. So I'm going to just paint this with the Bahama blue so it's darkened up a little bit. It'll be real faint. And I might go back and shade it. right. Boy, the shading color, whew, it's gonna be dark for that crystal blue. Holy smokes. The color is peacock teal, and it is bright. Which is kind of making me rethink things. But we'll go for it. I'm going to water it down and go on the inside here just to do a light color. Oh my. Well, I knew it was going to be bright. Holy smokes. Yeah. It's pretty much covering up. That. See, and just tapping my finger on top of that mellowed that out a little bit. I'm afraid to shade. Wow. Well, gonna highlight this with some bleach sand. And I think I'm gonna use a bigger brush. that fades a little bit because that's a little bit brighter than what I wanted. And this isn't going to be bright at all because it's watered down. The struggle is real today. It was real yesterday, and it's a continuation. I'm going to do a little highlighting with some blue chiffon. There's actually not much difference between the two. I mean, I can see it, but it's not a huge change. Well, I ought to just use my little liner brush because that's just too much is getting in my score lines. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shade instead of highlight that. Hopefully I can get away with a very minimal shade. There's hardly any space, so I might, when I'm gonna redo this particular part right here. This color just doesn't look like it goes, but it just doesn't look like it goes. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just, that shading color is, just very minimal. The blue doesn't even look like it matches. So I'm gonna just shade with that desert turquoise. Why did I do that there? It needs to go on this. The struggle is real today in more ways than one. Holy smokes. And I think I might actually paint this the desert turquoise, or the peacock teal, excuse me. See, adding all this extra colors is just going to make a difference in the end. Doing all this shading and highlighting, it will make a difference in the end. Let me see if I need to go over this a little bit more. Nope, that's pretty good. But I am going to paint this the peacock teal. That way it just brings that darkness on this piece and kind of ties everything together. And I'm going to attempt, and the key word is attempt. I'm going to change brush. To shade right inside that little area right in here. Just to make it a more solid line. I'm going to go over it again. It just kind of adds a little bit of depth. I'm going to shade this one more time. I had too much water and I mean, you can just spend hours upon hours detailing. All right, I'm gonna see if I can somehow fix these. That's gonna be a chore. That is gonna be tough. Before I do that, I still have to paint the flower. Okay, good enough. see if I can do this. Could be interesting. I might be doing that piece all over again. So I'm just using the tiniest stylus I've got. And just pressing hard into there, and I'm kind of, I don't like that. Wondering. Okay, try it again. It is what it is. That's what I get for painting over top of that. I get a sloppy looking dots. And it's like something Durley did all day long. I'm gonna go with a darker flower. I wasn't going to, but I think it needs done. Excuse me. So I'm gonna paint this flower with purple petal. Hopefully that'll stand out good enough. I probably, instead of doing black, I should have done those little dots. Soft black, a dark brown. I'm just really half tempted to paint this piece over again, and I probably will, because I don't like that black at all. I don't know if asphaltum would be better or not. So let's try. Can't even see the difference. That's too bad. That's going to be a redo, so that will not be getting glued on. I know the phrase is progress, not perfection. And I get that. But I actually like my finished product to look nice. don't know if I can sand this or not. Let's see, just out of curiosity. What's sad is I really like the way I painted it. All right, let's try this again. Goodness, I hope I'm not getting sick. That would not be good. So let's try this again. I'm not going to worry about getting in the dots. I'm just going to take a stylus and dot over it. And if this doesn't work out, I'll paint off the camera and that'll be all she wrote. Yeah, this is going to be a redo off camera. Recut or redo. Sorry about wasting your time. But I am fussy. I don't like my stuff looking like it early did it. So what I'm going to do is dry brush lavender. And they're just like in the circle in the center and kind of extend it out past where those lines are, just to make it a little bit darker around where that yellow dot's going to go. And then I'm going to highlight the outside edge with white. So I'm just kind of going in a circular motion, but then also extending it out. And I just want this darker purple just to go a little bit past that center. I just kind of want it minimal. That looks terrible. You can see just a little bit of darkness past there, not a whole lot. So what I'll do is I'll glue all this together, and I'm not going to stick with that either. That, no. Just taking some white. That sticks out like a sore thumb. That was a bad idea. Really a bad idea. Not every idea can be a winner chicken dinner. Okay. Because that just, I don't know. Yeah, that actually needs to be lighter. So that's a redo. And maybe putting a purple flower on here was not a good idea. So let's just try and glue what I can here and call it quits for the day. And I will be on next weekend, to paint the squares and the lettering, and that's it. All right. And I need to wipe my edges off. I actually need to shade, but I'm not going to. Oops. But I think this is going to be cute. Like I said, this handle, it's just a little bit bigger. Or wider is a better term. But I like that. Part of me kind of wishes I would have painted something different than the yellow, but it is what it is. Pretty colorful. And for smaller pieces, get yourself some needle nose pliers. I got these off of Amazon, and they're a lifesaver for gluing on to small areas. So if I was to put this on here like this, even though that's, like I said, that's a redo all day. And this. And honestly, if I painted that a little bit better. But, yeah. Needs painted with a sponge. But I'll let that dry. But these are what we have. Like I said, that's a redo. But I think that screams spring. And then it's a matter of putting these on colored squares. And I'm going to be doing probably pinks, yellow. I'm going to put this on a pale yellow. And I'm thinking this on a blue, maybe. I'm not for sure. Maybe even a pale purple would look nice. But yeah, this is what we got. It's colorful and it screams spring. So join me next week, rather next weekend, as I finish this up. Have a great Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.